Grown Man Shit, episode 4.
So are you like the official intro guy?
Hey, I mean, actually, just I gotta give the stage. You got the mic.
Yeah, you got the presentation down pat today, man.
Put all this pressure on me.
Sit back with my popcorn. I'm the audience.
On Grown Man Shit today, we'll be discussing how important is charisma for a man. Is it something every man should strive to develop? Is it? It's a nice to have. It's like a beard, right? But not required. At least that's what she tells me. No, I'm kidding. What is it? Is it real? Or is it just, you have a nice personality? Like, what is that?
So we'll start with what charisma is for each of us.
There you go. That's where I was going to go. Charisma to me matches with natural magnetism. Like, some dudes were born with that. People just flock to them. Some people have to, build their game. Like, okay, this is what I do to get my results. Charisma to me is the natural part of that. The part that you doesn't need training. You don't have to think about. You walk into a room and this is just who you are from birth. Where that natural animal magnetism.
So what do you think the purpose of it is? What's the function of it?
It's the peacock. It's the feathers. Charisma is the feathers. It's what we do to attract mates.
So you think charisma is for mates?
You keep hearing the magnetism drawing in.
Charisma is magnetism. It's for now. There's charisma can overlap when you're going into business and you walk into a room to lead the room as far as business goes as well. But it's all the same world. You're doing all of that to put your feathers up so she can see how pretty you are. I want to be the one who walks into the room and all eyes are on me because I want the pick of the litter. If I walk in with Dwayne, I need the eyes on me. I need to make sure my feathers are brighter or at least as bright as his so that he doesn't get all the good chicks.
So charisma, compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. Ooh, I like
devotion.
This.
Huh? We talked about this.
The worship.
Thou shalt have no other God before me.
Hey, there it is. She enchanted the guest with her charisma, coming from a woman as well. Interesting. Second definition: a divinely conferred power or talent.
That's the one that goes into it.
Yeah, Lewis was saying more that.
I'll check on my thoughts, which I do like. I like. First of all, I like the element of the magnetism, like that charisma is reflected out there in the audience. The attractiveness, drawing others in. How I view it, if like a chemical or scientific breakdown for me, it registers as masculine expression. Your personality, your character, being able to demonstrate that. And I see it as, I heard you say something natural, yes, and as it lives for me, it is developed in a way because most of us don't come out freely expressed, nothing to heal, just ourselves. And as for the world of men especially, as we get comfortable, and I can say the same thing for women because they're in their world of where women navigate society, as we get comfortable with ourselves, as I call it, the masculine expression of what is your character, who am I, like Lewis was talking to you, walk into a room, there's a certain way, certain swag, a certain sway, your language, your words, your humor, all of that comes out. And what I'm loving about this discussion, because I'd never had it distinguished, how it actually, I've always liked captivates, how it actually captures or draws in others through attractiveness, magnetism, because we like those that we like, those that are like us, and things of that nature. So when the positive traits, the fun traits, how does a woman feel, especially feminine, is going to follow, well, what is life around this masculine, following this masculine, everything aspects of that. That's my thoughts. Professor.
The glasses. I'm never wearing these glasses again. I had an eye exam today. I did like,
Hey, fresh ass eye exams,
right?
I have like a technical definition, but I do know it's one of those things that is experienced, and so people aren't oftentimes necessarily putting it in words like this is it and this is more of an experience, and then people are like, he's charismatic or he's not, and the only thing they're judging that off of is what did I feel like around that person. Particularly women, right? That's how they're going to measure everything about a man typically. How did he make me feel? You got it or you don't, based on did he make me feel this or not. If I felt good, then he's in this category. If he made me feel awkward or creepy or like you're in a different.
Yeah.
So they're just gauging off a feeling, whereas men will more aim to articulate their feeling into things that you can tell another man. Okay, so this is how you make her feel, like So I'm listening for just to see. But I have an actual technical thing that I had to come out, and I don't want to hear your thoughts on what it is. I'd actually start with framing it in a question, right? So when we think about, if you think about somebody that you'd be like, I think that person's charismatic, what words would you use if you were describing them? Right? You'd say what? Like in real time?
Warm. Approachable.
Approachable, confident.
Right.
Engaging, communicative.
Inviting.
Which are all descriptions of things that you'd experience after encountering them.
Okay, got it. Then the only word that would come is confident. It would be that of confidence. Before you have a conversation, before you walk over to them, whether it's a man or a woman, if they walk in with charisma, you notice them from the other side of the room. You're like, that's somebody I want to have a conversation with.
Your question was asking the after or taking the
Well, I just asked what words come to your mind if you were to put adjectives to it, and the words that came to mind were things you could only know after you met them. So it sounds like charisma is it's not, you recognize it after interacting with them rather than before. But if it was magnetism,
that's why I was saying the confidence side, because you can tell somebody walks into a room by how they walk into a room. You don't have to have an interaction with them before you walk across the room. You can see by their swag that they walk in and own the room.
For me, it was the inviting openness. It's going to be things in their energy. I'd say those are the things that draw you in to have the interaction. But the inviting portion, open body language, how they're carrying themselves. For me, those are things that are going to indicate the charisma is obvious from jump. I wouldn't say, because the subcommunication, nonverbal communication is going to come before we even say words. To that degree, when they come in the room, there's something communicating. The person not making eye contact, off to the distance, or closed off body language, no charisma, nothing drawing in, not open. I wouldn't say that, I don't think you need to interact directly to detect or experience charisma.
Communication has two roles essentially, to either give information or educate, we'll say, or to incite a certain positive feeling or to entertain. So we just put educate and entertain. Right. So we're going to take those to the extremes. We're going to take full-on education, no entertainment, which is just like a boring professor or something. Right. We're going to put full-on entertainment, no education, which is like a clown. I wouldn't even put a comedian in there. Comedians are doing a little bit of both. And you'll understand why people would consider comedians charismatic. So like a class, just always goofing around, nothing too serious. And so when I thought it through, charisma seems to be, and I don't know the full ratio, I mean, who can ever say, but it seems to be a person's ability to educate and entertain when they're engaging with someone. But they have to have the intent of having the person have a positive experience. So if they are educating and entertaining, but their intent is not. It's kind of like whatever, that charisma won't shine. So it seems to me, and especially if I reflect on like my own communication style, it's always some important shit than a joke. And more important than a joke. Like all the time, back and forth, right? And it's when I think about somebody else that would be considered charismatic, if they're too far in one or the other, then you're either just goofy, but not quite charismatic, or you're serious, but not, and so it seems to be a dance between those two things. And so an example would be, let's say you're fucking ordering some food, you're hungry, the waitress comes up or waiter comes up, hey, what can I get for you today? I'm like, you actually have the answer. You may, let me think, you may say like, let me know, okay, what you got that's for free, right? And you may start with something that's more playful, obviously. And it's like, they laugh and then like, give me a sec, I'll look at the menu, and I'll be right with you. Okay, cool. So it's a dance between, I could have been like, give me a second, look at the menu. Or I could say, what you got for free? Ha ha ha, and just stick there. But there seems to be a balance between sticking to the objective of the conversation, but not being too rigid, right? And so it's being able to, if I had to put the definition again, educate and entertain with the intent of keeping, the words exactly was be playful and educate while having the intention of making the other person have a good experience. The difference between mine and y'all's is that charisma, when I think about like looking at somebody, if I have zero context of who they are and I don't see them interact with anybody at all, I don't know if I could say that's a charismatic person. I could say they have swagger, which is slightly different to me, or they have confidence in body language. But to say that they're charismatic without ever seeing them talk to anybody or ever talking to them, I don't know if I could judge that. Yeah, I'd have to get an example of how.
See, the only challenge I have in your definition is intention. I don't think you have to have pure intentions to be charismatic. By all accounts, Hitler was charismatic.
You mean pure intention?
How did you describe it?
Said the intent to
you
make
said
them
something,
feel good.
Yeah, you have an intent to make somebody feel good.
Yeah.
I don't know that intention matters for charisma.
What's a counterexample of somebody being
I'm trying to
charismatic
think of somebody.
that isn't?
I said Hitler, but Hitler had intention to make his followers feel good. Just not anybody else.
But that's an example. You're trying to do something and then sort of joke. What I was saying, that was an example just now, right? You were thinking about Hitler. You were kind of beeline or
right, and I said something funny,
and then you went back. But that could have went completely the other way, where you're like, no, Hitler is the right, or it could be you're just completely goofy with no base, right? And so that would be an example just now. But I am curious because I'm like, the reason I said it like that is because I don't see, the only way you're moving people without force is if they like you. Or unless you have a very common goal that they really want. Obviously, if you have both. But it's very hard to move a person that doesn't like you. And so